Good night, Papua New Guinea, and welcome to another episode of Sports Scene. It's great to have your company. I'm joined here by Mr. Shane Soroya.
Good night, Elijah.
How have you been?
I've been good. I've been down with fever again. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm okay. I'm good.
That's good. Now, we have a massive show lined up for you. On tonight's show, we speak to Baramundi's coach, Deepak Patel, and also the captain, Jack Vare, on their preparations for the test match against Kenya.
Yeah.
And we also speak to MTV's football guru,
Jeremy Mogi, to give us an update and a brief on OFC Nations Cup plus FIFA Under-20 Women's Tri-Nation Series between Papua New Guinea, Japan, and USA.
Yeah, now that's coming on later on in the show. But before anything else, here are the weekend sports briefs for you.
On tonight's sports brief, last week SP PNG Hunters and Kumuls winger Justin Olam accepted an offer from the Melbourne Storm to join the club for the 2017 and 2018 season. The contract with the Storm is subjected to Olam passing a full medical check in Brisbane. Justin will remain with the Hunters for the rest of the 2016 season. He will have the opportunity to spend a week with the Melbourne Storm during the Hunters' weekend bye. PNG Media Pool launched the 2016 competition at the Lamana Gold Club. The competition is set to kick off on the 4th of June, with many people showing interest to register. After a year of absence from the competition, Chairman Tony Sipa says they are set to run the 24-week competition, with many excited to get back. The Port Moresby Netball Competition. The leaders, Next Mermaids, outclassed a young Esco Telstar side, beating them by 51 to 42 goals yesterday at the Rita Flynn Indoor Complex. Leading the charges for the Mermaids, an informed duo in goal attacking Jafet Tulapi and scorer Raylene Andrew. The women in purple had a narrow first and second quarter before running away on the fourth. The Defence Lone Bolts Club in Port Moresby is preparing for the national bowling titles in Mount Hagen on June. Men's and women's fours are gearing up to create upset in the titles. The first round of the competition, Games Director Jerry Kusa said best of the best players will be selected to compete against other centres. Bulolo, Goroka, Medang and Mount Hagen will also compete. Sports Minister Justin Tachanko has invited residents in Port Moresby to be part of the Under-20 women's game in Port Moresby. Tachanko said the match is an international event and great opportunity for the public to witness.
Another big international event right here in Port Moresby at the Sejongai's Outdoor Stadium, where we'll have the Japanese team and the American team play on. So please everybody, I think it'll be a great time to get down to Sejongai's Stadium and see these international teams playing right here in Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea as well.
And round 11 of the NRL Premiership saw Rabbitohs 34 defeated Dragons on 24 points. An intense match saw Cowboys 19 defeated rivals Broncos on 18 points. Tigers 20 secured a win against Knights on 12. Warriors 12 were beaten by Raiders 38. Sharks celebrated another win, beating Sea Eagles 24 points to 12. Panthers 24 lost to Titans 28. Bulldogs 32 defeated Roosters 20. And in Super Rugby round 13, the Crusaders 29 defeated Waratahs 10. Reds 35 beat Sunwolves 25. Chiefs 36 beat Rebels 15. Western Force 13 beat Bulls 17. Lions 52 defeated Jaguars 24. Sharks 53 trashed Knights 0. Stormers on 13 went down to Bulls by 17. That's the sports brief for this week. Join us again for another sports brief next week.
And that was the weekend sports briefs for you. We will bring you some of the weekend sports briefs in next week's episode. Now, also in the sports brief, we saw Justin Olam, who recently accepted an offer from the Melbourne Storm. Now, congratulations to him.
Yeah, congratulations. Justin Olam is one typical example of younger players making it through the Hunters program and eventually got scouted in the NRL. So congratulations to Justin Olam there.
Yeah, he will have to pass a medical test later on during the year in order to go play with the Melbourne Storm. So hopefully we wish him all the best in that.
But he will remain with the Hunters throughout the entire 2016 season, but I think he will have a run with the Melbourne Storm in the 2017 season. That's next year. So yeah, all the best to Justin Olam for that.
Now don't go anywhere. After the break, we bring to you some cricket and volleyball. Now welcome back to the show. Over the weekend, we were able to catch up with Baramundi's coach Deepak Patel and the captain, Baramundi's captain Jack Vare, about the preparations towards the match against Kenya.
Kenya versus Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
It's actually a first time for Papua New Guinea to host an international match here in our home turf. So yeah, an exciting times for cricket PNG.
Yes, so we caught up with them and this is what they had to say about their preparations.
Kenya and Baramundis have played against each other frequently in the last 2 years, and Baramundis are familiar with Kenya's game. Anticipating a challenging test match next weekend, Baramundi's captain Jack Vare said his team is prepared for Kenya.
The preparation's been going well. We had a lot of time to prepare ourselves well to this game. So yeah, the boys are keen and very calm, confident that hopefully we will get a good hit against Kenya on home soil in our first one-day international match.
Vare added there will be lots of pressure to perform as they are playing on home soil for the first time, and their family and the cricket fraternity will expect them to make next weekend count.
Hey, look, there's always advantage and disadvantage of playing home. One big thing is your home fans, watching you live in home soil. At the same time, the expectations of people or your fans, they know they're expecting a good performance from you and their expectations will be high. And we're trying to work on that. We don't have to worry about that. We just have to concentrate on what we can do on the field, what's job on hand, and yeah, take it from there.
Meanwhile, head coach Deepak Patel said there are lots of improvement in the Baramundis game and looks forward to see his team take on Kenya.
I suppose we've been working towards a plan for the last 6 to 8 weeks. So this is the last week of our preparation, and yeah, I'm pretty much encouraged by the way that not only have we planned, but where the boys are, and I feel that we're on the right track.
Patel added they have a game plan set in place already, as all the training and preparations have been carried out in the last couple of weeks.
Look, it's it's the first time that an official ODI, an ICC ODI game's been played in PNG. The Hibu Baramundis are very keen, to play in front of hopefully a big crowd. The family and friends, and obviously the cricket supporters. And it's a fantastic opportunity for the Hibu Baramundi players to display their skills, and particularly the results they've been getting overseas. And obviously we want to continue doing that in PNG.
The first match will be next week Saturday, and the next match is 2 days after.
We can only encourage people who, I've met a lot of people since I've been here who've always said that, we've never had the Hibu Baramundis play here. On home soil, so it's a great opportunity to everyone to come and support the Baramundis, the Hibu Baramundis.
Baramundis look forward to more local support as they show what they have on home soil.
I'd probably say the boys are doing well. We just have to, if whoever's watching, just come down to Amini Park, the home of the PNG Hibu Baramundis. Come and support our boys on the 28th and 30th of May.
And we wish the Baramundis all the best in their upcoming test against Kenya. Now, Shane, you caught up with the volleyball vice president here in Port Moresby, is that correct?
Yeah, the vice president, Mr. Karulaka. Now, he ran the competition, Fairfax volleyball competition, one of the biggest volleyball competition here in Papua New Guinea. So without further ado, let's check it out.
We are into the second season, second game of the first round. Okay, we have 9 clubs in our competition. There are 45 teams within those 9 clubs. We have open men's, open women's, A-grade men's, A-grade women's, and under 21 men's team. So there we got 5 divisions. The A-grade men's and women's are divided into 2 pools, Pool A and Pool B, because there's 12 A-grade men and 12 A-grade women. So we divide them into 2 pools, so 6 in each pools. The reason why we put them in pools is so that our competition can basically, the round robin games can basically finish at the same time. So it'll be like 1 week apart. So one of the divisions will have to wait 1 week. Unlike if we did not put it into pools, one of the teams will have to wait about 4 weeks before the finals is played. So that's the reason why we put them into pools. The national championships will be held in September this year in Port Moresby. So the federation is putting some work together to make sure that happens. But from our association level, we are right now at this very moment we'll be selecting our management and coaching staff. So letters have been written and people will be offered the positions. So hopefully within the next week or so, we'll be putting a training squad together. So yeah, so basically national championship is actually on. Well, we in the men's team we almost beat Wawa in the I think it was in the preliminary final in 2014. And based on that, and also a couple of good youngsters coming through the ranks, I believe that we can go better from what we did in 2014. In the women's team, a couple of our foundational players have left and now are with NCDVA. But we're not running short of talent. There are people that have been brewed at the backyard, and I'm pretty sure they will come and rise to the occasion and take over.
Great stuff there. Now, do stay with us after the break because we will be having a chat with our very own football guru, Jeremy Mogi, as he gives us an insight on the OFC Nations Cup plus the women's trial match between Papua New Guinea, USA, and Japan. Stay with us after the break. Welcome back to the show. Now, I'm joined here by Jeremy Mogi, our very own football guru. Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Shane. Been a while since I've been here on Sports.
All right. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll be expecting a lot of football action happening here in Papua New Guinea, beginning with the FIFA Under-20 Women's Tri-Nation Series between Papua New Guinea, Japan, and USA.
Yeah, the PNG Under-20 Women's national team arrived yesterday, Sunday afternoon. The head coach, Lisa Cole, has said that it's really important these friendly matches. The Japanese women arrived earlier today, while the US women's national team will be arriving over the course of the next few days in preparation for these friendlies.
Definitely. The Tri-Nation Series will be happening before the OFC, so we're expecting a jam-packed stadium, and it will be held over.
It'll actually be happening before and during, because the first match occurs tomorrow night, 7 p.m. at the Sejongais Stadium, and then the next match is on Friday evening with another match next week, Monday, following the first two, match day 1 and match day 2 of the OFC Nations Cup. Yep. So there's a lot of big matches happening here in Port Moresby, and Papua New Guinea to an extent. It's the first time we've ever had dual competitions of this level.
True. Papua New Guinea will take on Japan in the first match. That is expected coming up tomorrow, right?
Yes, it is. And believe it or not, but this is the first time that the PNG Under-20 women's national team will be playing any form of competitive football. They've just been in training non-stop. They have had matches against, I think it was the Under-15 boys national team, but then the quality of opposition, Lisa Cole could have picked any country such as Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, any of the Pacific nations to do so. She could even have chosen the Australian women, but to pick Japan and the US is just a massive test. It's a huge test for Papua New Guinea.
Yeah. Moving over to the OFC Nations Cup. First 3 teams have arrived. Are we expecting to see more of the our Pacific brothers coming over here to play against our national side, the men's national side?
Yeah, well, this morning the PNG senior men's national team arrived from Lae. They were on, I think, the 11 o'clock flight today. Well, later on in the afternoon, it was the team from Tahiti, the defending champions for the OFC Nations Cup, that came over. Tomorrow, I think it's Solomon Islands, while New Zealand are expected the day after that, or probably on Thursday. So big things happening, big countries coming over.
New Zealand, as expected, will be coming into this competition as favourites, right?
New Zealand are coming in as favourites because they've been able to bring in players not just from the OFC Champions League sides in Wellington and Auckland FC, but they've also recruited a lot of their heavyweight players from both the A-League in Australia and, of course, believe it or not, the English Premier League, as well as I think another player coming all the way from France.
Wow.
So this is a very strong New Zealand team that is an all-white squad that is here to win the Nations Cup.
Okay. So we'll be expecting the next couple of weeks of basically a lot of the people have been calling it will be a football first for the country, and one of the biggest events happening so far, I think, since the Pacific Games.
Definitely since the Pacific Games. You see, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that the OFC Nations Cup is the pinnacle of competition for all Pacific countries, not the Pacific Games. The Pacific Games is really an under-23 competition for football and also for the women's senior national teams. But the OFC Nations Cup is the biggest tournament in terms of men's football throughout the region. Now for us, we're having the OFC Nations Cup. In Europe, the European Championships will be on simultaneously, as well as the South American one. So this whole month of May, June, July is just massive for football all across the globe.
Speaking of that, the winner of the OFC Nations Cup will have a chance to compete in the Confederations Cup over in Russia 2017.
Yeah, the Confederations Cup is actually a tournament that occurs exactly 12 months before any World Cup and features the winners of all the different confederations. So we're from Oceania, so this is the OFC, the Oceania Football Confederation. Then you've got Asia, AFC, you've got the African continent, Europe is UEFA, of course, CONMEBOL, CONCACAF, etc. And Tahiti got to play against countries like Spain, Brazil. So this is a massive tournament, and I've said it before that the financial windfalls for any of the countries taking part in the Nations Cup is just absolutely massive.
Speaking of that, in the OFC record, Tahiti was the only Pacific Island countries apart from New Zealand to get qualified.
Tahiti have been the only country apart from Australia and New Zealand since I think it was 1973 to have won the OFC Nations Cup. So it's a big thing. It's a big thing.
Finally, before we go, just your suggestion, your thoughts on the competition itself. Who would you think would be the hot favorites in the tournament? And Tahiti are defending champions. New Zealand will be expected as favorites of the competition, but any predictions on how other Pacific Islands would perform at the...
Well, Tahiti are coming in as defending champions. New Zealand coming in as heavy favorites based on the based on the quality of the players that they have. The Solomon Islands have recruited very heavily. Well, sorry, not recruited, but they've done a very, very good selection. Henry Farado returns to the side. He's been one of the best players for the SI national team. Fiji have named a very, very strong squad, including members of that under-23 team that qualified for Rio, which will be happening soon after the Nations Cup. Vanuatu, can't really say too much about them. Samoa would probably be the weakest team coming in, but I have to say I'm still going for Papua New Guinea, based on the performances of the Lake City Dwellers and of course Hikari United during the the OFC Champions League, because even the PNG men's national coach Flemin Seritslev had stated that the PNG performances, or the performances by PNG players taking on the best in the region, was just way above par.
Yeah, I think we've fielded our A team for the men's national team.
I think we fielded the best side we've seen in a long time. Yep.
Okay. So finally, you're still going for Papua New Guinea to take out the OFC Nations Cup title?
Well, unlike you, I was born in Papua New Guinea, so I will go for PNG. Go fellas, all the best.
Okay, Jeremy, thank you very much for your time and your insight on the OFC Nations Cup plus the Under-20 Women's Tri-Nation Series.
Thank you, Shane. Thank you.
Thank you. Do stay with us after the break for more of Sports Scene.
And welcome back to the show. Now, before we go, this is what's happening this weekend. Now, in the Intercity Cup Round 7 match, Simbu Lions take on the Mount Hagen Eagles, and the Rabaul Warriors take on Gulf Isa Pairs.
Also, Port Moresby Vipers versus Hela Wigmen, Enga Miox versus Lay Snacks Tigers.
Mendi Muruks take on the Wagi Tumbe, and Goroka Lahanis on a bye.
Moving over to NRL Round 12 draws, Broncos versus Tigers,
The Dragons take on the Cowboys,
and the Raiders versus Bulldogs.
and on Monday night, Knights take on the Eels.
Teams on bye are Sharks, Titans, Sea Eagles, Storms, Warriors, Panthers, Rabbitohs, and Roosters.
Now over to the Super Rugby Round 14 draw, the Hurricanes take on the Highlanders, and the Waratahs take on the Chiefs.
And on Saturday, 28th of May, Kings versus Jaguars, Bulls versus Crusaders, Brumbies versus Sunwolves, and Stormers taking on the Cheetahs.
And on Sunday, the Bulls take on the Lions, and the Rebels go up against the Force.
In the Interest Super Cup Round 12 draws, first up we have Ipswich Jets versus PNG Hunters.
And of course, the State of Origin Game 1, which is on the 1st of June 2016 at the ANZ Stadium. And that's what's happening this weekend and on Monday. Now, Shane, the Nations Cup, the OFC Nations Cup.
The OFC Nations Cup. Now, to our viewers out there, do get along and support our men's national side. That's for the OFC Nations Cup against the rest of the Pacific. And for our under-20 women's national side, that will be taking on the two big names of football, that is Japan and USA. So yeah, do get along and support our national team.
Exciting times there for PNG. But unfortunately, we've come to the end of our show. If you want to know more about what we've talked about, you can visit our Facebook page. That's MTV Sports on Facebook, or visit our MTV online page. Now, thank you very much, Shane, for your time
No worries,
on
Elijah.
joining me on Sports Scene. And yeah, that's all the time we have for you tonight. You can join us same time, same place. On behalf of Shane and I, it's good night.
Good night.